Hello and welcome to Scrapping on the Fly. My name is Kristen and I'm here with another Kill-A-Kit for my November series using the Vicki Boutin Fernwood and some other stash that I have put together. However, today I will be using all Vicki Boutin's Fernwood because that just seemed to be the best thing to work with what I was documenting, which are these pictures from Gettysburg Cemetery. And so the oranges and pumpkins and things from the Simple Stories just did not seem to fit. So these papers and the 6x8 paper are both from Fernwood. And all of my embellishments, except for this Never Forget, although it's upside down right there, that came from a Sticko label sheet. So, but everything else is from the Fernwood collection. And so those are the embellishments I want to use to document these three pictures. And then I also decided that I wanted to use my November stencil of the month from Scrapping Reflections. And I'm trying to show you that that's on there, but it's kind of hard to see. So that is from Scrapping Reflections, and that is the stencil for November 2022. And I thought that that would work for the background of this layout. So I'm going to ink that with this blue ink from Tim Holtz. It is Chip Sapphire, because that is the darkest blue I have. I'm going to have to get a darker blue ink pad very soon. So, but with my papers, my embellishments, my ink and stencil, and these pictures, let's see how this goes. So first things first, I wanted to move the stencil over to the side so that it's going to be covering the majority of the right side. And there's a little strip of paper over there tucked up underneath there so that it doesn't get all over my mat. Because I wanted the stars to be falling off the page a little bit, because I think that helps continue the page and make it look like it's, more encompassing. So, or never is, like it's it's kind of like putting mirrors in your room. It makes things look bigger. So I start by heavy handing the ink every other star. And I'm not going to do that last row of stars because I'm pretty sure I'm going to cover at least close to half of this page with that other paper that I had. And then I light-handed the other stars so they're not as dark and bold. And then I took this Jelly Roll Moonlight pen. I think this one's a Moonlight. And yes, Jelly Roll Moonlight in gold. And you're not going to be able to see that really drastically, but I go ahead and outline all of them. You can see it up close, but not like a pop, in your face, not like really drastic. And then I decided I wanted a little shine and shimmer, so I pulled out my Wink of Stella, and this is gold. And I used that on the lighter ones that I did not put that heavy hand of the Chip Sapphire in. So I go through with my Wink of Stella, and it kind of turns them a little bit on the yellow side, which I'm perfectly fine with, probably because there's that blue back there as well as the green behind that. But when you see the finished product, it is shiny and shimmery, and I love that. So I'm going to take this off. This is one of my favorite things, is the stencil reveals. I love watching Sandy with the State Goddess who created the stencil. I love watching her stencil reveals. So this is the paper I'm going to use. I'm using about half, and I just do a pretty rough tear. And I'm going to pull a little of this white off because I didn't want too much of that. But I do love, especially on this page, to have that white border. So I'm going to put that down flush on the left side. And I considered tearing more because there's so much of that fourth row that gets covered. But I decided I really wanted the bottom, or the picture, to fully be encompassed, the two pictures to be fully encompassed with this the striped paper, and then this bottom picture will come out further because I feel like it is the focal point more than the other two. I love the way that the other one, especially that middle one, is done. My daughter took that picture. I think she took that one and the one that says unknown. And these are soldiers that they did not, they didn't know who they were, and so they don't have names. There's tons and tons of other people who are buried in Gettysburg Cemetery, but they have, actual tombstones and markers. These were the unknowns, and they didn't know who they were, so they put them all here. And as you can tell, there's 425 of them. So that picture that I took of the sign with the quote on it, I thought was it was a pretty cool picture. Plus, it shows you all the little marble stones that they have. And then, my daughter's picture was that middle one. You can see it's blurry looking. It's because she did it in portrait, which I think is so cool. I love portrait mode. So I fussy cut this camera out from the back of a scrap that I used to mat that picture, that bottom picture. And so I cut that out and tucked it in. And I had a camera, you can see right there on my sticker embellishment sheet, but I don't use that because I ended up using this one and I felt like there was no need to have a second one. So I have it lined up to use on maybe my next one, or I think actually I'm going to pull it to use for Tuesday. So I have this estate sale tag. I thought it was really neat. Came from the Vicki Boutin embellishment set. And so I put that on there. And then I have this chipboard with the floral and the bird, and I thought that was going to go really well here. So I put some glue, I did not ink it. I put some glue on the back of it using the Nuvo Deluxe adhesive and put that in the upper corner. I thought about putting it in the upper corner on the green paper, but I really liked keeping the majority of what I was doing over here on the left. I feel like even though the weight, the physical weight and the embellishment weight is all on the left, but the stars and the shiny, shimmery, happy stuff help even out everything on the layout. So I normally don't do something to where it's super heavy on one side and then, nothing on the other, because that's hard for me. White space is hard, and whether it's white, green, purple, whatever. Luckily, those stars help me feel like the left side or the right side is not, bare or missing anything. I did consider a couple of things up in that top, either the right corner or right next to where the paper ends, but I just felt like the stars and everything really helped even out the page. So now I have tucked a couple flowers in the corners and then of those pictures. And then I pull the one right there next to the unknown picture. I pull that one up so that I can put this little word phrase down because I didn't want it to cover the entire flower, and it just says a moment captured. And then I debated on using that pinkish peach corally colored chipboard because it says discovered, but there's nothing else really on this layout with that color except for the bird. The bird has a little bit of that pinkish peachy color or corally color, and then there's a word phrase that I use down at the bottom that has like that pinkish peachy color. So I decided to go ahead and add it in. And so the different things around there, it says discovered, a moment captured, and then down in the bottom left corner says this is just a chapter, not the whole story. And then there's a little thing that says wandering. And then I used that little label. It came from a sticko sheet, I'm almost positive, and it's all patriotic things. It's all red and blue with white font, and it's like an old school label maker. And so I put that down in the bottom, which is why I chose to do the stars in that chip sapphire, because I wanted some blue, because I wanted to use this Never Forget. So I get that down on there. I thought I was going to use that in Arlington, but I did not. And I think I only have one more picture of Arlington to document, or one more layout. So I I wrote the date in that little tag, and then I put the numbers, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just because I felt like it was fitting since this was, you know, kind of documenting all these people who were buried here and they didn't know who they were. And that is it. I love the way this layout turned out. And I'm going to show you the stars and kind of move them around so you can see. But look at that shine and shimmer from that Wink of Stella, you all. I love how those turned out. I think they're so shiny and so, oh, it just makes me happy. So anyway, that is today's layout. I hope that you all will come back tomorrow because I'm hoping to finish out this month with a few more. And then at the end of the month, I will go through what I have left in my Kit and do a layout share. I hope you all have a fantastic day and happy scrapping.